we came in and did some sales training for you guys. What was happening before we came in and did that with you guys?
We had to start hiring other people whose not their sales skills weren't any good. They just weren't at the level that the business needed to progress. When they're at that level, being inside the business, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to relay information because I'm not a teacher. It's very hard for me to teach that to other people because I don't understand how to give them the information maybe correctly. Was where me and Ren started to look, we need an expert to really help us deliver the message of what we're trying to project to our employees who haven't been taught before, which is where we came across Transformation and you, Adrian, to help us out with that. It was a 2-day course. So this was turnaround. Prior to attending, I think the average number we were hitting would be individually for the sales tech was about 25 to 20K per week. And, some companies may think, that's fantastic. That's great. For us, we're above. We just think it's average. It's a lot below of where I set the bar was around 50, and having those 2 days come through pretty much immediately. The next kind of days the boys were rolling out, we were seeing results from then on, and the weeks after their averages became 50. We saw a double ×2 in return from actually the information was received on those days. And this is only from 2 days. This is not from months or multiple. This is straight away.
Welcome to Transformation Unlocked, where real trade business owners share what it really takes to scale. Today's guests, Ren and Cris from Fix and Flow. These two have known each other since preschool. Now they've built a $6 million plumbing machine with 0 admin, 13 techs, and a culture that absolutely hums. We talk sacrifice, sales, flow state, and how they doubled their team's numbers with the right training and mindset. If you've ever wondered what it actually looks like to scale from nothing to serious numbers, this is your episode.
Ren and Cris from Fix and Flow. Gentlemen, welcome to Transformation Unlocked. How are we, fellas?
We're good. Very good, Adrian. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited to do this episode with you boys. I love your energy. I love what you're about. And I really want to get our listeners to understand more about you boys as well. You've had a quite a short but impactful business journey. But before we get into that, I want to know more about you boys. I want to find out. I've obviously had a chat to you guys. Obviously, we've done some work together in the past, and I know a little bit about you boys. But I heard a specific line that really interests me, that you guys have known each other almost since the moment you both came out of the womb, which intrigues me. First and foremost, how long have you known each other? And it sounds like obviously you're friends growing up, but tell me about the beginning of your friendship and relationship as mates.
Thanks for having us on. I forgot to say that as well. We appreciate it. Thank you. This guy here, unfortunately, he was there when I was born. He was in the room. I don't know what this bastard was doing there, but the guy was there. But no seriousness, we actually met at preschool. I think we became mates from the start, but I don't think we saw each other as mates. It's more of a brother relationship. And then it came up through school and from there. What do you reckon, Ren?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just been from straight out of the womb, and we've known each other. It's just, went to preschool together, primary school together, separated at high school. Fortunately, I think that saved us a bit, but just carried that relationship on till now, obviously. Yeah, it's been quite a while, man. The time yours.
Lovely. So boys, did you have family connections or something? What was this? How did the family end up being so close early on? Was there some sort of neighborhood or family connection?
We lived around the corner from each other, right? Only a couple of streets. Our older brothers were also close friends at preschool as well. So we have 2 older brothers that are older than us, Addison and Anthony, who both happened to be at the same school as well. And then when we came in the years younger, I guess we started hanging out as a group. And it just went from there. We started hanging out outside of school on weekends, and we developed a kind of family close relationship where we were all in a bit of a group scenario where we all could grow up together.
Lovely. So straight away, again, we're going to have a lovely casual chat with you today. But I always love to obviously we've got a great audience listening to what we're talking about. And I love to turn our podcast into partially a coaching session for our listeners so they're getting some value. So what I would assume from that, guys, that the trust was high. Yeah, you knew each other, you knew where your backgrounds were from. You come from good stock, from good families, and you trusted each other, which probably was one of the catalysts that led you to decide to be partners down the track. Is that a fair comment?
It was just easy. It made sense. You had that relationship, the trust factor, like you said, Adrian, was just there. So it was just without question.
if you can't trust someone you're going into business with, you shouldn't be going into business with them, I think.
100%.
Hey, it's one of the most important things to do is to have that relationship of trust with your business partner, because there's no trust, something's going to get lost along the way.
100%. You know how many times you probably know yourself, Adrian, people attempt it and there's just that trust factor or that relationship. There's no bond. It just doesn't work out, unfortunately. And it just comes out in the end, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Look, partnerships are by far the most difficult, and that could be for marriage as well, too, as well as business. But if you're not, first of all, trust must be a non-negotiable. It must be implicit across the board. You trust each other with your lives, and obviously because it's a bank account as well. And then second of all, right? So let's just get some numbers. So you started 3 years ago. How many techs have you got? And I'm going to come back to my point here. How many techs you got, guys, now?
Oh, you got us on the spot.
Off the top of the head.
That's a good problem. That's growth.
So
Let's say 13.
yeah,
Let's say 13. Let's just say 13. Something like that.
Fantastic.
Fluctuate.
You know why I think that it's people come, people go. So okay, you got 13 team members, and you're doing them from zero. You're already at $6 million revenue, which is amazing, and a healthy profit margin as well. And you're both coming back to my point about trust. The second part of a successful partnership is you're both taking care of two different roles inside the business. Ren, you're out there in the field, and you're kind of like the sales manager as well as a lead sales guy, and making sure the boys are going well. And Chris, you're in the back office, amazingly, right? Running a $6 million business with no one else in the office. You must be.
he's on his own here.
Yeah. That
Lonely. It's like a jail. It feels like jail. It's great. There's nothing going on here.
That's him.
Yeah. It's just me.
100%, and that's not sustainable, which we've also talked about while we're helping you out on that front as well. But yeah, tell me more about how you guys naturally gravitated to Ren being in the field and you being in the back office, Chris. Tell me about that, boys.
The funny thing is, from the start, I think the way it went was, if we go back to when we first started working together, and we're just starting out, both of us, we both had skills, right? And Renan was probably the best plumber I know. I still say he's the best plumber in Australia, maybe it's Sydney. I don't lie. There's an ego involved, but I can say I'm the best plumber in Sydney, New South Wales. Sorry, plumber, salesman. So when you bring those two together, it's kind of, we had our own roles inside of plumbing. I was going to win the customer, win the job. He would come in and do the job and have that professional service follow up. So it kind of stems from there as a salesman plumber duo. And then it's kind of gone on from Ren remaining there, which is getting off the road soon, to where we are now, and then transitioning into an office. But that transition's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking back and coming into the office from being people that we were just working on the road. We were going to jobs, winning the jobs, and doing the jobs on the same day or the next day, without an office staff, without team members. At the start, that's how it pretty much got us going to here now, how we're in the office.
You raised a great point, and I'm going to come to you in 2 seconds, Ren, but I want to also, again, add value to the listeners. Guys, if you're in your own business and you're going, oh, no one around me is driving the business, no one around me is selling, you got to be that driving force to start with, right? You must be that. If you're not prepared to go and do that, right, who the hell else is going to follow you, right? You must lead by example to start with. Know that you have that ability, and then you can transition to different roles. So it's absolutely paramount. Well done for doing that, boys. Ren, where did you guys work? Did you work at the same company, or did you work?
Well, funnily enough, like right at the start, we did for a small period. I, funnily enough, stayed at that company throughout my whole apprenticeship to when we opened Fix and Flow. But yeah, it was tight knit at the start. As I said, I stayed at the company. Chris head off to, where'd you start? It was multiple.
I went to multiple maintenance companies. Yeah, I went to multiple maintenance companies in Sydney.
That's also important because you get to see how everybody else runs it.
Oh, it was a crucial factor in this, 100%.
Yeah. Ren remaining at that company we were at, where it was construction right at the start, it needed to happen because the plumbing skill that he learned there, I would have never learned going through these mazes. It's like he would have learned that sales skill, managing, working on a construction site, where you can get from that knowledge at maintenance companies, because you're not really you don't have the opportunity to provide that customer relationship on a site. It's that customer experience. Yeah, it's a mad. Yeah, the boat coming in.
Yeah. Sorry, boys. Yeah, I say this to nauseam. I go, guys, if you can't fix it, I said this only a few weeks ago on a podcast. If you can't fix it, you can't plumb it, or if you're a Sparky, you can't wire it. You can't freaking sell it, right? You got to be able to do the technical skill very, very, very well, and then look at sales. It's just a ticket to the game. If you don't do that, you don't deserve to be in the game.
You got to understand.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris, go for it.
No, you got to understand the sale. I can't agree more. You can't sell something you don't know. I'm a massive advocate on that.
You got to have the confidence in the boys as well that you're selling. You know, you have to have that knowledge that this is going to be 100% satisfactory service. It's just got to be in the back of your mind, or you can't be confident in selling it. So,
yeah, love it, love it. And this is another thing that I see companies make a mistake. Adrian, we want sales training. Okay, great. But yet they lack to do any technical training at all. Like, you've got to do both. It's absolutely paramount. You're teaching the guys how to diagnose, fault find, install, whatever the case may be, reline or wire up if you're a Sparky, or install splitties, whatever the case may be if you're a Friggy. But you must do both. You can't do one or the other. It's two absolutely crucial parts. So let's recap. You know each other, you guys, since you grew up together. Your brothers were mates. You also too were very, very trusting of one another. You knew that someone had to go in the field, someone had to run the back office. You got a very high regard for the technical skill. So let's talk a little bit about how we met. You came on board and did some sales training for us. Sorry, other way around. We did some sales training for you guys. Yeah, it's funny that I might be getting. You never know. I'll pass the baton, guys. At some point in the next 10 minutes. So we came in and did some sales training for you guys. What was happening before we came in and did that with you guys?
I think before you came in, I was really heavily dominant on exactly trying to, because obviously at one point in the business, I'll go back a little bit. We had to start hiring other people whose not their sales skills weren't any good. They just weren't at the level that the business needed to progress. When they're at that level, being inside the business, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to relate information, because I'm not a teacher. I'm also a worker myself, if you want to look at it in the business terms. It's very hard for me to teach that to other people, because I don't understand how to give them the information maybe correctly. Was where me and Ren started to look. We need an expert to really help us deliver the message of what we're trying to project to our employees who haven't been taught before, which is where we came across Transformation and you, Adrian, to help us out with that.
Yeah, cool. It's so true, because someone can do it, but they can't necessarily teach it. And that is a big aspect of it. And if you don't, would you mind sharing with the kind of the results we helped you achieve there, guys?
Yeah, 100%.
Come to that training, it was only 2 days. And yes, tell us the results you achieved.
We came to the on-site course where you did it at location. We bring the team down. It was a 2-day course. So this was turnaround prior to attending. I think the average number we were hitting would be individually for the sales tech was about 25 to 20K per week. And, some companies may think, that's fantastic. That's great. For us, we're above. We just think that it's average. It's a lot below of where I set the bar was around 50, and having those 2 days come through pretty much immediately, the next kind of days the boys were rolling out, we were seeing results from then on, and the weeks after, their averages became 50. We saw a double ×2 in return from actually the information was received on those dates. And this is only from 2 days. This is not from months or multiple. This is straight away. But we also had the workers that were able to, cooperate and want to learn. They got to want to be able to do this.
I can't give the motivation, and you've actually created such a fantastic culture. So first of all, thank you very much for sharing that, because it's great. I can talk about it all day, but people go, yeah, whatever. But when they hear it from you guys, it actually carries a lot of weight. More importantly, I want to give you guys credit too, because you created the culture where these guys really want to go and be vulnerable, be open. I need help. I'd like to learn more. I can't change that. If these guys aren't open to learning and aren't open, they must have a growth mindset and very much a beginner's mind when it comes to learning new concepts. If they're going, no, we can't, we know it all, I can't help you train that. But you guys, credit to you guys, you've created an amazing culture. And yes, that's a fantastic result, but it also starts off the back of having a great culture plus the training from us as well.
The boys were just, or as soon as we had them 2 sessions, you just saw the confidence in the boys oozing out. It was just like, they were so confident going into sales. They were making the phone calls. It's working. They were giving us the feedback, which was obviously props to you, man. It really helped the boys. It changed the numbers. It really did. And we noticed that. I know it was only 2 days, and like that, man.
Yeah.
It helped us out, helped the team grow.
That's what's easy. Hey, we're still going. We're still going.
We've only just begun. We've only just begun.
It started. I don't know where it ends up. It might end. We're still here though.
We got so much more to achieve together. And this is why I love you guys. You got so much fantastic energy. It is so exciting to work with people that are just ready for what's next. Let's go. Let's
go. Bring it on.
Let's talk about that. What's the vision for Fix and Flow? Is there some point where you stay to plumbing? Do you think you'll go to electrical at some point? What's kind of the vision moving forward for you guys?
It's real funny because when we started, Ren, I don't think we ever spoke about where it would end up and what we were trying to do. I think we're just trying to make money and work. We just wanted to go to work. We always say this. I think it just ended up here. We just kind of got here, but now that we are here, I think there's a roadmap of where we want to be. It's a lot clearer. People would think, your ego or your killer. We pretty much want to be the number one service company to provide, maybe in Sydney, you could say New South Wales, Queensland, Melbourne, you can say wherever. But that's what our thoughts would be. We just want to be number one.
Yeah.
That might sound
Continue to improve. Yeah.
Continue to be a better service. Give people opportunity to work and make money themselves inside of our company. And maybe service, all over, but obviously at the same time.
No, I love that. Because if you have a big enough goal, everyone in your team is going to come out and be successful, have a great career, get paid well.
Yeah.
Also, you grow the human being. And that's a big distinction we've talked about many times, is once you start to realize, and we talked about this only a week ago with the guys from Tonkin on a podcast again, that once you realize you're no longer a plumbing business, that you're a training and human development organization, that's when guys go, shit, I want to work at that company, and then knock it on your door, right? Like at the beginning, it's hard to get team members, but once you start to have that reputation in the market, people are knocking on your door because they know they're going to get treated well and get trained and have a better career and a better life. It's really important.
Yeah, it's like a family. 100% recommend. It's like a family.
Look, a lot of companies, they're selfish in a sense. We're not like that. We want the boys to have their aspirations. We want to help them out as well because, it works both ways. If we're leading them toward their goals, we're going to see the changes in us, in them. It's going to continue, isn't it? So
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 3 years, 6 million growth. Obviously, that's pretty phenomenal. What kind of sacrifices have you guys made in order to kind of get to this point? Like, what is it? Yeah, I'll start with Ren first.
Oh, yeah.
You get the concept of the question. What have you kind of had to give up to get to this level of success?
Well, look, a lot of it's straightforward, man. You just got to sacrifice a lot of your time. You have your life before that, and it's fine, but if you want to be successful, if you want to create your aspirations and lead towards your goals, your time's gone, man. Your friends, goodbye. I barely see my friends. I probably have 3 friends now, but
me, you, and Adrian.
That's it, us 3. And so it doesn't bother me, man. Like, I love it, but it is a sacrifice, and it does take a toll. You've got no time to yourself. Everything's in the business. I myself was living off and Chris as well, we're living off $400 a week.
Yeah.
If you eat that,
maybe. The quality of life is poor.
I can't remember the last time I bought a set of clothes, to be honest with you, Adrian. I'm not even joking either. It's just everything has to get sacrificed. Your time is absolutely gone. You're at work, you go home, you wake up, and I know it sounds terrible. To be honest with you, I love it.
Yeah. It's such a funny thing. People start to think you become a caricature of yourself because you're always wearing, like in your case, a Fix and Flow shirt, which you literally work 24/7.
The boys make fun of us for it, but whatever.
That's it. You got to sacrifice to go and get those results. So yeah, I've got nothing but admiration for people that are prepared to take that sacrifice. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, you ran into the words out of my mouth. It's a shame. You lose relationships, you lose opportunities, you lose holidays, you lose time, but it's all in the journey, right? You gotta, I think you gotta love it. We call it the grind, and you gotta love the grind and the hustle, because at the end of the day, look, you say 6 million now. I know you touched base on it before. We don't think that's great. We don't think anything of it. It's nothing to us. We see way bigger, we got way bigger targets to that. That honestly doesn't even phase us. We don't think much of it right now. We don't think much of it ever. We wouldn't even talk about it. But
You're not money focused or number
Nah,
focused. What
that's not even the goal.
putting on the team and growing like you said, the family.
Yeah, we can get away. We think we can go. There's more levels to this that we can achieve, But the hustle and the grind, I think at the end of the day, when you think about it, like, you got to love it. You got to want to do it. You got to want to be a part of it, because on the journey, you lose all what you see on the way to the life before. You're not going to get that back until I don't know. Do you ever get to where you need to be, Adrian? I don't know. Does it have to stop?
No, I totally agree with you on that point, Chris. I believe personally, and this is my opinion,
Yeah.
when you stop, it's almost like saying I'm surrendering, or I'm giving up. Like I turned 50 last year, and I feel like I'm younger, fitter, and more than I've ever been in my life.
You look great, man. You're sharp.
You had my 40s. Thank you. Give us the credit though. So the compliment.
You're sharp as a tack, mate.
Thank you very much, boys. Now I feel very, and then hanging out with young guys like yourselves, it also helps. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying there, Chris, because it's like, and I know guys that are exceptionally successful and exceptionally wealthy, and they're still going. And yeah,
Oh, they're still going.
yeah, like so many, some of my friends and peers and colleagues are just like, this is the life you choose, and you continue to go until you create, like we said, a legacy for your family, your legacy for your team as well. It's also about those boys having a career. And when we become business owners, we are now taking the responsibility for their lives as well as our lives.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Do you believe in burnout, Adrian? When people say, do you believe in that?
I tell you what, I've done a lot of work with a guy called Dr. John DeMartini, and Dr. John DeMartini, if you haven't checked him out, he's amazing. He's American.
Yeah, was he your mentor? Sorry.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them. Yeah, without a doubt, he's definitely had one of the most profound impacts upon my life. He is what we call a polymath, and a polymath is an expert in multiple, like he's actually an expert in about 4 or 5 areas. Interestingly, theology, which is religion, another thing called axiology, which is a study of human values, which will remind me to come back to that point about burnout and axiology and human values. Human behavior is another area he's an expert in, and I can't remember. There's another 2 or 3 things. He's a freak. He's an absolute freak of a man. Yeah, when you're in burnout, it's not so much you're working hard to what your values are. If you're getting into burnout, it usually means you're working hard to something you're not aligned with. Does that make sense? So it is 100% in my value system. I'll give you an example, guys. Have you ever worked so hard that you forgot to look at the clock, you didn't eat, you didn't even drink any water, and all of a sudden you go, holy crap, that's spent 8 hours. Have you experienced?
Can we say every day? Every day. I would lie.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens when you're working in your in flow, in your highest state of being, which is in line with your values. Everything disappears, right? Time just is an instant. When you're not in your highest values, right? You're looking for things you're looking for diversions to stop thinking about the pain that you might be in, or psychological pain. Time drags on. It feels like it's going ever and ever and ever. And it's completely the opposite. So burnout is for me, burnout would be a sign that something is not right in my values. I'm not actually living the life that I'm supposed to be doing. Does that make sense?
It's funny you say that, because it really makes a lot of sense now, the way you've broken that down, because when people talk about it, they sound like the people that are on the wrong path. They're tired. There's no achievement at the end of their day, because you've got to have that satisfaction at the end of the day that you've moved a step forward. Even if you've moved forward in knowledge, you've learned a lesson and you can take it from.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to feel like the needle's being pushed forward on my life. Yeah, exactly right. And also too, it's important. We might even talk to this point in a second too. Business is a catalyst for you to get cash in order to buy assets as well. So you want to be not just doing the business and making money. You need to be putting that into stuff that'll eventually replace your active income and becomes passive income through assets. But I'll park that thought for a second.
Good.
What about you guys? Like, have you ever, like, do you listen to podcasts? Do you actually go read books? What do you find that's been instrumental or helped you in your lives?
Listen to your podcast, this one here. Phil last week, great podcast, $20 million. It was very knowledgeable. Am I allowed to say that?
Really, what? This is just a chat.
Actually, yeah, no, that it's a real eye opener, that podcast, because his information's is second to none with the way he breaks down the sale. That sort of stuff. You're going to go there for sure.
What about external? Do you listen to anything else? Would you consider yourselves readers, guys, or not really?
Big on reading, man?
Honestly, just recently I don't read per se, but I have been listening to podcast books or audio books.
Phenomenal.
More when I'm in the car, and I'm enjoying them. I definitely am.
Are you doing that in the car?
I am. It's the audibles now, yeah.
I don't know.
So not ashamed. It hasn't been part of my life, no, but only just recently have I been getting into the audibles. Podcasts. Did I see it?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I've been listening to Joe Rogan for years now. Listen to a couple of you as well, Adrian.
You can't listen to Joe Rogan. You can't. The JRE is unbelievable. Does that count?
Ren, while you're listening to Audible, and I'll give you definitely a couple of people, especially we talked about marketing when we were before we started the podcast today. And this is not just you guys, it's for all the other listeners. There's a guy in Australia called Alan Dibb who wrote the one-page marketing plan. We know Alan. In fact, Alan was the very first person many years ago to do episode number 1 with transformation. So that was
that one.
Yeah, so he's coming back on in a couple of weeks as well, but he's got an amazing book called The One-Page Marketing Plan, which is also on Audible, so you can listen to it while you're driving. He's also got a new book called The Lean Marketing as well, and definitely listen to his stuff. Stick it on that marketing and kind of influence and persuasion theme. This is a classic. You've heard me talk about this in training. It's by Dr. Robert Cialdini, and the book is called Influence. And it talks about all the different ways that people can be influenced through marketing, sales, etc. That was written back in 1982. So that's a very, very classic, timeless book, which is another great one to listen to. And he's also got a new one out called not Persuasion, but Persuasion. How do I persuade someone before I even meet them as well? That's another great one as well. I managed to get a fly in my office. I don't know how that's happened, but
I don't know where they come from. They always around.
But so that's definitely two definitely amazing people to keep.
You big on the books, Adrian?
I'm Audible. What I have to ship the years, I get the book on Audible, but I also buy the hard copy. And this is another really cool strategy. So if I'm driving or in an airport or whatever, I'll listen to it, but I'll have a highlighter and the book. So then I'll know roughly where I'm up to, and I'll keep a bookmark, even though I'm listening to it on my phone or on my earphones. And then I'll highlight sections that I really like, because I find it's great idea. One of the ways it kind of doesn't help as much when I'm listening to Audible is I might forget it and I don't have a reference point to go back to. And I know you can bookmark it, but I haven't gone down that kind of road. I like to have the hard copy that I can go back and bend the page and look at it.
Because even with podcasts and stuff, you get some valuable information. You forget where it is and what minute it was. You got to go back and watch it. It's a nightmare. So
I probably suggest, if you're doing it, be very safe and careful while you're driving, but pull over and write down the note there and then. Once we hear it, that's fantastic. But once we write it, it goes into our mind and on a different level, and we retain that information much better. Be safe, be careful. Don't try and write and drive. Of course, we want you to be safe.
No, we're not concerned that.
No, not at all. We want you to. No point getting good tip and crashing the car. So make sure the duals and then you've got that on another level of retention as well. It really helps, especially and so much for the sales guys as well. Listening, if you're a sales tech, you make sure that you're not just. And also too, once you've listened to it and you've written it down or highlighted it, then go and talk to a friend about it. Hey, I just heard this thing, because then it puts you into another level of retention inside your book. Yes. So then once you do those 3 things, you're really going to remember it, and it's going to start to sit into your subconscious mind as well as your conscious mind.
Then you'll try it. Then you do it. Then you go try it.
Well, you can't have an ego. There's so much knowledge out there that you can just soak in, and people don't understand. There's so many other people out there that have expert fields and expert knowledge in certain things, and you just got to listen, man. You got to take it in.
Let's talk about that point, boys. Mindset. Like obviously, mindset is a major part of success and achievement. What do you? I'll start with Chris this time. Chris, what when I talk about the topic of mindset, what comes up for you?
When you talk about mindset, I think the first thing that comes to mind is self-belief. The self-belief, because once you have self-doubt, you're in trouble. And it's really hard to achieve the self-belief. But once you get to a point where, you don't blame other things for happening. Oh, this is because of this, or you're blaming other things that are uncontrollable.
Love it.
But happening, even if you want to go back to like a sales point and you want to go to a job, you're dealing one-on-one with a customer. And, let's say you're trying to execute some sort of sale here with a client, and the phone keeps ringing in the background, the dog's scratching their leg, and you're blaming yourself for that. You've got to have the mindset where you can always look around it and take it as a lesson. So when you go on to the next job, you know how to deal with that client, because the way you treat yourself and the way you believe in what you're doing is where you're going to get better in life. If you're always doubting yourself and you're always second guessing yourself with anything in life, it doesn't even have to be sales, with anything, your achievements, your goals, your aspirations, I don't think you're ever going to be able to hit them. You've got to have that confidence in yourself and believe.
Love it.
And support, and it's healthy for the mind, I believe.
Lovely. No, I totally agree. Ren, what about you?
100%, but that fact as well. But it's positivity, man. You got to be positive. You're always going to get knockouts and shoot yourself in the foot, or there's always going to be something going on in your life or someone else's life. It's going to impact you, and it does. It takes effect, man. It takes a toll. And you just got to be positive. You got to have positive outcome in life and move forward, man. There's other things. There's other people that are worse off than you. There's always something worse off. Always something happening.
I think that's brilliant, because even if you look back to your own past, not your past life. We're not going to get down that.
You believe in that?
The past, the past. So I'll give you an example, right? If you were to think back when you were back working for someone on wages, to think of your life now is an absolute dream, and fucking, like, you'd be, oh my God, how good would. So even on a bad day now would be like a fantasy and a dream for you 5 years ago. Does that make sense?
It does, yes, definitely.
Yeah, other people having potential. Often we take for granted how lucky we are. Like, we forget that only 3 years ago or 5 years ago or 7 years ago, I dreamed of this, and now that's my everyday.
You don't think about that. You think about the next step. You're 100% right.
It comes back to being in the moment and being present, isn't it? It's really powerful, a really powerful concept. So, look, so mindset is absolutely crucial. I think also too, for our listeners, it's important to understand that failure is also part of success. Okay. Like Ren said, you must be positive, but be okay when you make mistakes, because if you're not, Chris,
Make mistakes every day though, Adrian. You can't not make a mistake. A mistake's a part of life. It's crucial to development and learning. I don't actually treat any mistake as a mistake. I treat it as a lesson. I've done it wrong. I've learned how I did it wrong, and now I know how to do it right. It's never going to happen again, and I move forward from here.
Brilliant. Exactly what
It keeps me on track. It keeps me on track.
Like you said, you got to take it as a lesson, because some people, they just move back, but they don't move forward with it.
You can't dwell on the past as well. If something happened and you're always fucking that happens, I can't stop thinking about it. It's happened now. We got to let it go. And we got to think about the future, because if you're dwelling on what's happened prior, you're always going to be clouded in your judgment going forward.
100%. Sales is a big example of that as well. You're not going to make every sale. You don't make a sale, you're thinking, shit, man, what did I do? And it's just a knock-on effect. You got to, like you said, Adrian, take that as a lesson, man, move forward. What did I do wrong? Where did I fuck up? Go sit in the car. Think about it, Yeah. Don't bring it to the next job.
I know the guy that had a lot of impact in my life is a guy called Brian Tracy. He's an old school sales guy. Nothing to do with the trades, but he was just, he was around in the 80s and the 90s. He's still around to this day. I think he'd be in his 80s now, 80 years of age, if not older.
Yeah, well.
And he's still punching stuff out. Like we said before, back to our earlier point, you never give up. He's going out there. He's doing, he's just still living his life and his high values. And Brian Tracy said to us, I was actually involved with their organization years ago, and he said, the number one way to increase your rate of success is to double your rate of failure. Right? So I'd say that again
That's huge.
Yeah. the number one way to increase your success is to double your rate of failure. Fail fast, right? Don't make it as though you run out of money and you got nothing. Then you really don't take wild risks, but small calculated risks. And if you fall flat on your face, that's going to be an amazing lesson, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget.
It's essential. It's essential to growth. Failure is essential to growth. It goes in partnership with it. I believe having those lessons or having that failure it's also gonna benefit you in the future when you're succeeding, and it's gonna make you have the right mindset and the right decision making skills as well when you're going forward. It's 100%.
If you never failed, you've never been in deep water, so you gotta be failing.
Yeah. Again, coaching guys, and I see often that sometimes people are just so hesitant to try something. You go, what if it doesn't work? Well, it's probably not going to work attempt 1, right? It's only going to be work on attempt 2 or 3. So guess what? It's going to, you're probably going to fuck it up. So don't hang on to the attachment of getting it right. Hang on to the attachment of giving it a crack. That is the mindset to have when you're trying to grow and to get better sales and a better business.
If you never try, you're never going to change anything anyway. What's there to lose? There's no opportunity without trying something new.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to try something new to change something that's old, even if it's the sales results you're lacking or the numbers in your business that you're not liking. You don't change something, they're not going to change themselves. You got to go out there and change them. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, without a doubt. So boys, you both got parents yet? You haven't had kids or anything like that yet? Still
No kids.
no kids? Yeah, cool.
Kids. It might work a bit better that we don't, because there's a lot that comes with kids though. There's a lot you gotta be there. You hear it a lot.
It's all consuming. Why once you go one is definitely I mean obviously it's time consuming to have one child in a business, but to have 2 kids in a business, especially if the business hasn't got to that level of maturity where you're not involved in it on a deep level. So again, for the listeners, this is something to consider. If you've got a very young family, really consider your options before you decide to go into creating a business.
Yeah. There's a funny saying that Danny Garley told us, who's an accountant. He actually mentioned that when we started, that Fix and Flow's got to be your baby. You got to nurture it, mature it, grow it up. You got to guide it. Because that's a baby itself in a way.
It is. You sacrifice so much time. You can't afford to have any other liabilities. Not that it's a liability, but it takes a lot of time, man.
It's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, I kind of knew you didn't have any kids in the background, but it's important again for the listeners to understand.
Sure.
It means we're not trying to say don't start a business. Just be aware of what you're getting yourself into.
Yes. Yeah.
Go in with your eyes wide open, not thinking, it's all going to be, I'm going to work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, and I'm going to go away. I'm going to do this and do that. When you start,
I can set hours, man. No, out the door.
Everything's all consuming.
It's not hours anymore.
Yeah.
The road, if there's going to be a successful business, you've got to take that into account early on, especially the family. You've got to weigh up the options of sacrifice. What are you willing to lose to make it work? And value that up.
I've seen another dynamic play out too. The guys, we talked about your guys being able to sell like 200 grand a month. In fact, I should clean this up. When I did that Phil Fulasky podcast a few weeks ago, thought I said 300,000 a month, and I actually said as a year. Now I meant to say 300,000 a month. So if you listen to that one, it's definitely not 300,000 a year. It was about 300,000 a month. I won't go into too much detail. However, another thing that I see guys do, thinking, wow, I'm selling 200 grand, 250 grand, 300 grand a month. And they think, well, I can go start my own business. And I've seen that happen time and time again. They don't realize how much different skill set is required to go and start the business. And you may be better off being with the business that you're at because you're getting looked after and there's good systems. They're spending an absolute fortune on marketing, which we've talked about in the past as well. Your business is trying to bring that marketing cost down. And have you ever seen that with maybe some of the past companies you've worked at or in your business as well, where someone's been really good at sales, things they can go and start a business and it hasn't worked out as they planned?
I've seen it personally countless times with other people that have tried, but it doesn't work out because you got to remember when you're getting 200, 300,000 at one company. You're also probably at a company that's been around for a long time. They've had customers that they've kept in their customers for many, many years. They've reused those same customers over multiple different jobs, over multiple different services, probably aircon and HVAC and plumbing. So you're dealing with a different set. You're dealing with a different set of sales. So you're pretty much, you're not guided to winning the job all the time, but it's pretty much, it's set out for you in a roadmap that's been developed by that business. You got to remember, you got to get your own clientele. You got to start by introducing yourself as a new kind of, you're a new business. So that those leads aren't rolling in like another company. You need leads to sell to people. The leads aren't coming out of thin air.
Yeah.
You usually
I want you to get those leads in the door.
90%, if you don't have investment, like we didn't have any investment, we started from ground zero. But if you don't have investment to get those leads off from day dot, you're not going to be selling those numbers from day dot. Those numbers don't just come. Those numbers take time to build, because people, well, I believe that they trust the business. They're not actually going through just getting one guy to come out, your local guy, one man band. They're getting a business because there's trust, there's reliability, there's confidence. You can call them Christmas Eve, 1 a.m. The business will answer the phone. That one man is not answering till Jan 7. There's something else when it goes into the sale. So when you take into consideration where you're selling now and what you're putting into a company, you got to remember that company's there, put the foundation for you to sell that number.
Absolutely. Red, do you want to add to that point?
He's pretty much spot on it. It's just, you know, like,
I tell you where I'll jump in, Ren, for a second. Where I see guys make this mistake is they think, oh yeah, sales is the business. I've always put up 5 fingers. There's 4 key parts. You got to know your financials and your numbers, and the numbers also spread out to marketing as well. You've got to be able to sell, obviously. So that kind of boxes tick. But then you've also, like we just said with Chris, too, you've got to be able to generate the leads and market. And then you've got to deliver the work. They're the 4 key areas of your business, right? If you're not mastering those 4 key areas, and it also too kind of goes in a linear line. So it starts with the marketing at the front. Even answering the phone is a sales process. Then you've got to book an appointment. It's not a job until someone sells something. You've got to get the right technician in front of it. And when you start out, if you're the sales guy, you're the only technician. And then you've got to get the right amount of money on the average ticket to make sure that you haven't actually spent more money on marketing than you have on the actual revenue from that job. And then you've got to make sure your overheads, and also to deliver the plumbing or the electrical or whatever your trade may be, you've got to deliver the job and make sure you get the solution fixed, and also to do it in an efficient manner that's under the quoted amount. And then finally, understand that the system and the processes tie all of it together. Well, it's yeah.
That's what makes a successful business. Even when people go, they go out on their own. They don't understand. See, they understand sales. They understand sales. That's right. But they don't understand the value of the job. They don't even know why they're selling it at this price if they're on there, they're on their own, because they don't understand their overheads. And that's why some people, at the end of the day, they're probably, when they're going out there, they're maybe not even making money. They don't understand where their bottom dollar is. They don't understand how much the material is costing them, the way they got the job in the door, how much it cost them to get the job done. So they can be losing a lot of money by not understanding the process behind the actual business to make money from that job. Because anyone can go and sell a figure, but
he's got the backing from the company.
is that enough money on this job?
So they've got that confidence, you know, that the company, like Chris said, it's already set up for them to go ahead. They've got the numbers that they need to attack, that they need to sustain in order to keep the company going. And they think, obviously, by doing that, they can just grab that and bring it to their company or whatever they want to do. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It doesn't execute that way, not at all. All right, guys. I want to start to land the plane here and bring this in. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the fact that you've known each other for a long time. You've realized that investing in your team was really important. You've given up a lot to be where you're at, and I commend you for your fast growth. What would be like a parting comment or a parting statement you'd like to make to the listeners on what to do if they're listening, whether they be a sales guy in the field or whether they're a young guy or a young team have just started a business? What would you like to say to people listening to that?
Well, look, man, like, there's not enough knowledge in the world. Don't think going into something that you're going to know everything, because you're not. There's people like you that are going to teach the boys, taking the knowledge. There's a million podcasts to listen to. You're not going to know everything, and that's fine. Go into it with an open mind. remember that you're going to sacrifice a lot of your life in order for this to be successful, because it's subpar. It's going to happen. That's something that's absolutely crucial. You know, you're not going to have the best days every day. It's not going to happen. You're going to go home thinking, fuck me, what am I doing? I'm not making money. The job in fucking 7 days. Why am I doing it? I'm going to go to a company again. And it does happen. You have your thoughts and then dark moments, and fuck it, man. You just got to move past it. There's always some grass greener on the other side, and you can make it there. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Ren. Chris, what about you?
If there's anyone listening out there for like looking to gain or grasp knowledge to move forward in sales, just you keep trying. If you don't win those jobs, keep going, but try different avenues. Don't always take the same approach to every customer, because every customer is different. Ren touched on business. I'll go sales. If there's knowledge on sales, especially listening to your staff or getting you out there yourself and going to, you know, your organized seminars where you have all the team come down there. It's really good. It's really good information. Partly the sales road. If you're going to go and you're going to learn properly to sell the job, you gotta have the most knowledge of the trade. You got to be able to understand that every customer is different, and you got to work out a sell based on any scenario. Anyone, doesn't matter what type of customer, nationality, gender, wherever whoever, young, old, there's no bad customer.
Yeah.
Everyone's a good customer.
That's very true. You got to start to find out how to kind of adapt and communicate, build rapport and build trust with it doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, I totally agree.
It doesn't matter who,
Doesn't matter when. Fucking spend the time.
there's no bad lead.
I'm not wearing the t-shirt anymore. Slow down. It reads this through.
It's true. There's no, don't run, break it down. You don't remember when you go into these jobs, electrical, aircon, whatever it may be, they don't understand what you're actually, this majority don't understand what you're actually offering them. Break it down, start that relationship, meet the client, ask about their day. They're people too. Treat them like people. It's not just we're not robots in there. This is the job. This is the price. See ya.
One option out of there.
No, break it down.
And then then they went in the market. They weren't interested because you didn't spend enough time. You didn't connect.
They didn't even understand you. They probably don't even remember your name when you left.
The amount of times we've heard that fucking sentence, oh, shit custom,
Shit lead.
careless, and it's not going to stop.
I went to the shittest leads in the world. I guarantee you I was leaving there with my target. Every lead. The shittest leads they could have been. Don't take a no for an answer. Sit on the couch. I mean, take your time to have a chat.
I think you guys have heard me say it. All leads are bad. It's up to us to make them good. That's the best concept of that.
That's right.
They're all bad.
They're all bad. Adrian, like, they've called a company, asked for a service, and then waited at home for you to go knock on their door. They obviously need you.
90%. It's 90%.
The way you break it down and explain it to them, that's a reflection of you onto them. If you're not with their body language, or if you're aggressive with them, or you're blunt, if they're asking you questions, you don't even have the information.
Yep.
You're not there. But even if you don't, if they ask you an out, I've been asked so many questions before, just stuff I don't even know. Hold on, let me check that off. Or, I'll do some, I'm thinking, and I'll see if I'll word my way back around to the start again.
Yep.
And I'll bring it up, and I'll work that out quickly and come back with the answer. I'll make sure I can get them what they need.
The only pressure is the pressure you put on yourself. Yeah. I love what you did there in that kind of stalling and buying yourself time, because you might answer in the moment, but if you give it enough time and go, let me think about it. That's a great question. I'll come back to that in a sec. And then you've relieved the pressure from yourself.
Yeah. And that's a great thing. You just adding that, you did touch on in that when we came out to the classes you had, because I wasn't good at telling the boys. I could bring team members with me and say, watch, this is what I do. Just listen with ya. But I wasn't describing why I was going down that road and selling. Yeah. I could have been talking about something to do with the service of a toilet, but then I went straight to a replacement. They didn't, but it's because I saw a shift in the customer. I might have asked them a question. Don't you think this toilet would look nice here? Don't you think it would look good in this bathroom? It's such a nice bathroom. They said, it would. So I changed. Yeah. But I guess the worker or someone with me didn't understand why I changed. They didn't get that body language, but you were able to describe how I was.
Yeah, they saw the what without the why.
Yeah, they saw the what without the why. And I was going through the steps without explaining them the steps, which you really showed the breakdown of the step. and really went into why I changed because I asked the customer and got that answer from them. So I went that way.
Yeah, lovely. Well, fellas, I can't thank you enough. This has been awesome. We really appreciate you taking your time out. It's for all the listeners. It's election day here in Australia, and we're missing it out to be part of the future of Australia. No, politicians, don't get me started on that. I think we should actually do one. I think I would probably get in a lot of trouble if I had a political podcast, but
Please.
you know what? We should next election. I think it would be good. But coming back to you guys, I want to thank you very much for coming on today, taking time out on a Saturday to be here. We really appreciate it. You've been awesome, and thank you for adding so much value to the listenership today. Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Adrian. It's a pleasure, man.
Have having us on, man.